She's just a girl, but she's on fire.
Hi, Ali Alvarez here. And today I want to share, this is a little bit more of a mystical money blog. I want to share a couple stories about some abundance stories that sort of are going to stretch your mind beyond what we think is possible. And one of the things I kind of love about exploring the world of money is that money can be very black and white and very brass tacks and very analytical. And when you start to dip into the realm of what I want to call miracles, it can be pretty awesome, pretty amazing. So I'm going to share a couple stories around this. Years back, I was introduced, like over 10 years ago, I was introduced to an artist and her books and her work in the world. And she had a book called Succulent Wild Women. And her name was Sark. And it stood for like, I don't remember, something Rainbow Kennedy. You can look her up. Sark is an acronym. And she was someone that I just was really into a long time ago as on my own personal journey of coming into finding self-love. And because she just was, her books oozed that. They were like colored markers and just colorful, and you couldn't help but feel happy opening her book. And so I really took her in for a long time, and then I put her away. Like I just sort of moved on and did other things. And my husband and I, when we moved into our house, when we bought our first house, it was the first week and we had just, closed and we were settling in. And it was kind of the first moment that I was able to sort of crack open my computer and kind of step into my office. And on that day, I happened to be on an email list of people that were doing audio, webinars and stuff like that. And it just so happened that this is like 10 years later from my Sark years. I just so happened to like open up my computer that day. My daughter was napping and there was an interview with Sark. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard from Sark in forever. So of course I wanted to hear this interview. And there's a lot of things I didn't know about her. And she talked about how, for example, she actually lived on the barter system for 10 years. Here's Sark, and she's at this Shishi hotel, and she's thinking, I really would love to have a dinner at this hotel. And so she makes herself a sign which says, artist needs food, and will offer inspired conversation in return. And these European businessmen come up. I think it's like the St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco or something like that. And they're like, well, join us for dinner. And so she joins them for dinner. She has the best time. And then they end up having this corporate account at the St. Francis Hotel, and they invite her to have a week there and, on their corporate account. So she has room service and this great week at the St. Francis Hotel. And she gets to just live it up and be an artist in the world, something that she's very, very good at. So that was one of her stories. And then she goes on a little bit later to talk about in this interview how there was a point in her life where she was renting a little cottage and she would sell her artwork to live. And, she wasn't selling any art at that moment. And she needed money to pay the rent. She needed money to eat. And she did not know where this was going to come from. She kind of sat there for a moment. She's like, I really need a money miracle. So she goes outside, she stands in the road, she puts her hands up into the sky, and she looks up, and she's like, I need a money miracle right now. And she has this impulse to just stay and wait. And the wind starts to blow. And as she's looking right in front of her, as the wind is blowing, she looks at what seems like leaves blowing. And as they come closer to her, she realizes that they are $100 bills. And she's like, wow. And $500 in bills, like five $100 bills blows onto her right at her feet. And she picks them up. My daughter. She picks them up, and it was enough to...
I can't find what's right.
Sure.
I can't find what's right.
You
So I
can...
find this.
Okay. Aw, she's got a cold. Got a nasty cold. So this $500 covers her rent.
I can't.
Come here, sweetheart. This $500 covers her rent. Yeah.
I can't what's right. Do I find this?
You put it this way. So the $500 covers her rent and covers her food. Like, it was exactly the amount that she needed. You need some help? Okay, we're going to go help with the puzzle, and then I have one more story for you.
Okay.
Okay? I love you. You're so awesome. $500 in $100 bills shows up for her, which is exactly what she needed to feed herself and pay her rent. And part of her was saying, like, I should have asked for more money. But the idea being is that she was willing to ask for what she needed and stay open to how it came into her life. I have a similar story. It's not a $500 blowing up onto my feet story, but in the same realm of how the universe can bring abundance to us in a magical way. When my husband and I we had just closed on our house, and and 2 weeks after we closed, he actually got laid off, and that was a little bit of a hiccup for us, and we were trying to figure that out. So sometimes when these things come across your life, you have to embrace them and say, okay, now we're meant to focus on something else, like being able to settle into our new home. And there was a part of our house that we were actually we wanted to renovate, and it needed to be fixed up. And so my husband thought, well, I can use this time to begin to renovate this part of the house. So he puts on one of these white zoot suits, these sort of like, construction outfits. And he looks like this big white marshmallow. And he's starting to clear out construction and debris and paneling and stuff out of this part of our house. And a long story short, he's taking stuff out by our side yard, and we live off of a very busy road, and our road turns into very quiet. So this woman comes off the busy road, and she pulls right into our little parking lot, right in front of my husband in his big marshmallow zoot suit. And she has a flat tire. She's like, will you help me? Can you help me fix my car? And he immediately, like good Samaritan, pops in there and changes her tire. And in gratitude, she hands him $40. And that was like a magical $40, because we really needed that to like buy dinner, buy food, put food on the table. And I kind of thought about that, and I just smiled. And I was like, the universe is always looking for ways to bring us what we need. The universe always wants to have our back and to be in support. And sometimes it's up to us to get out of our own way and to be open to receive, and to be open to how it comes into our life. So with that thought, stay open, stay wild, and leave your comments and thoughts below if you have any of your own money miracles. I'd love to hear from you and love to hear your stories. And and check out our Empower Network if you have not seen really what Empower Network is about, talking about money miracles. That the world of Empower Network is absolutely filled with them. And know that you can create your own. You can step into something like Empower Network and start to step into your own realm of creating miracles in your own life. So I encourage you to do that. Have a great day. Bye.